I am so excited to be here today with Dr. Nandita Shah, who was a mentor of mine and a homeopathic teacher and dear friend. She is now a unique doctor because even though she was a homeopath, now she's only prescribing food as medicine. She is the founder of Sharan, recipient of the Nari Shakti Puraskar in 2016 from the President of India for her work in health and nutrition, and the author of the bestseller Reversing Diabetes in 21 Days. I'm super excited that she is here today to share what can be done during this pandemic with coronavirus and also her way of healing the planet and taking care of the people and all the animals. Welcome, Dr. Nandita Shah.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here and with Melissa because Melissa and we've been together for a really long time uh, because we were doing homeopathy together. I do want to tell you that I'm a medical doctor and a homeopath, but I'm not practicing homeopathy now since many years. I've changed completely and I've started an organization called Sharan. And now I'm going to start screen share so that I can show you slides and let you know more about what I do now and how it can help you now. So in 2005, I started an organization called Sharan, and Sharan stands for Sanctuary for Health and Reconnection to Animals and Nature. And we are working on building a culture of health all over the world because right now we're living in a culture of disease. Let me tell you how I started. I was practicing homeopathy, and I told you I'm a medical doctor, and I found that mm, people get better with homeopathic remedies, but after some time they come back and I'm repeating the same remedy. And that I thought was not a cure because that's happening with allopathy in an even worse way, in the sense that people are taking medicines every day. So today's World Homeopathy Day, that's the birthday of Hahnemann. And I think, whenever I read Hahnemann's books, that there's so much. He was such a thoughtful person. And the motto is dare to be wise. And today, more than ever, we really all have to dare to be wise. Now, today I'm going to talk to you about how you can reach your highest health potential no matter where you are. Hahnemann talked about a maintaining cause. Let me explain in simple words what a maintaining cause is, because I would like to tell you how you can use this knowledge today to even fight a disease like COVID-19. I've written a book, Reversing Diabetes in 21 Days. Now, you might think, how can you reverse diabetes in 21 days? Because so many people have this disease for 15, 20, and even 30 years. And they are taking medicines every day. And doctors tell them to cut out the carbohydrates and cut out the sugars. And most of them do this, but they never get better. Why are they not getting better? And the reason is that because if you want to solve a problem, you need to understand the cause of the problem and remove it. Now, diabetes has a maintaining cause, but it's not sugar. Sugar is not the cause of diabetes. High blood sugar is the result of diabetes. The cause of diabetes is lack of insulin or insulin resistance. And if we really want to get rid of diabetes, we have to understand what is the cause of insulin resistance and get rid of it. And if you do that, you can actually be well on your way to reversing diabetes in less than 21 days. By reversing, I mean no normal blood sugar levels and no more medicines. But this requires a change in lifestyle. Now, today we have a lot of lifestyle diseases, and I'm just going to list them one by one. And you're all familiar with all these diseases. But here's what I want to say, that each and every one of these diseases that I'm listing right now, except perhaps some psychiatric problems, can actually be reversed with changes in lifestyle. That means reports can become normal and no more symptoms and no more medicines. Now let's get on to COVID-19. This is a new disease and it has come as a pandemic, and it started because of wet markets in China. But let's not blame just the wet markets in China, because we've had a series of recent pandemics, and each one of them has, has emerged from animals in our food chain. Whether in Asia or whether somewhere else, each and every one of these is connected to animals in our food chain. And so if China has overcome COVID-19 kind of, and they reopen their wet markets, how does it help the problem? And China's not the only one that had wet markets. Wet markets are found all over the world, including India, where I live, and USA. New York City has wet markets, and they are operating right now during the pandemic. So what are we doing? And to be honest, a wet market is an open market where animals are slaughtered so that people can eat fresh meat. But honestly, slaughterhouses are wet markets too. They're just closed. And right now, slaughterhouse workers or meat packaging companies have faced corona in their company. So, this can spread very quickly. And right now, the death toll of COVID-19 is over 90,000. But, and that's a very, very small figure compared to the toll that climate change is going to take. For example, I lived in the tsunami of 2004, and the death toll there was 230,000. So if we have climate change, which is actually even a bigger issue than pandemics, and if we don't take care of it, then we are going to have problems through pandemics, through climate change, through so many things. And right now, even during the pandemic, there are countries that are facing the onslaught of climatic conditions. Now, what do climate change and COVID-19 have in common? Like, what has this all got to do with each other, right? And the truth is that the biggest cause of climate change is greenhouse gases caused by animal agriculture to support our current lifestyle. And if we were to shift to a um, plant-based lifestyle, then the greenhouse gases would reduce by over 90%. 90%. If you look at the note at the bottom of this slide, it says icons are not to scale because 90% decrease would be ridiculously small. So if we just change our lifestyle, we can not just prevent um, climate change, but also pandemics. Right now, livestock take up more biomass than all the other animals on the planet, humans and wild animals. As you can see from this figure, wild animals take up a very, very, very small place on the planet right now because biodiversity has been wiped out to raise animals for food. Forests are being cut down to raise beef so that we can eat it. And it's not just beef, it's chickens, pigs, and all other animals. And and this is coming back to bite us. So, but what is the connection with lifestyle diseases? You know, COVID-19 is more deadly to people who have diabetes and high blood pressure and so on and so forth. But even eating animals is the main cause of lifestyle diseases. So eating animals causes COVID, eating animals causes climate change, eating animals causes lifestyle diseases. Let's see how, because you know, it's so hard to figure this one out because we've all been brought up thinking that we are omnivores, right? Now, the key to solving any problem is that we need to get to the root cause of the problem. Right now, usually when you go to a doctor is treating symptoms. In fact, even when someone has COVID-19 and they go to the doctor, all the doctor can do is treat symptoms. But if we really want to solve this problem of repeated pandemics, we need to get to the cause of the problem. Now, let me explain this a little better. If you had a cow, you would feed it grass. And if you had a lion, you would feed it meat. Why would you feed a cow grass or a lion meat? The reason is because cows know that they have to eat grass and lions know that they have to eat meat. Even if a lioness had cubs in the grasslands, the cubs wouldn't go for the grass, they would wait for their mother to bring them a kill. So each animal knows what it's supposed to eat, but we have been, I mean, we are not eating according to our instincts, but we're eating according to what we have been taught by our culture, our society, and advertisements. So let's think for a moment, what is the real food for our species? Now, we too have instincts and we're just not in touch with our instincts. But I'm going to put you in touch with your instincts right now. Imagine if you were at a farm or an orchard and you see fruits and vegetables. What do you feel like doing? Picking and eating, of course. But if you saw a chicken walk by, or a goat, or a cow, does your mouth water? Like, whose mouth would water if they saw a chicken walk by? Maybe a fox or a dog, because a fox or a dog can pounce on a chicken, tear it apart, and eat it whole and raw. A dog can even eat bones, claws, beak, head, everything, right? But if you see a dish like this, does your mouth water? Probably. And that's because we've been conditioned and it's our comfort food and it's the smell, it's the things that we've been used to for a really long time. Now, if you think about it, if you see green fields of wheat or rice, does your mouth water? Probably not. It gives you a good feeling and you feel like you're in nature, but it doesn't make your mouth water. Whose mouth would water if they saw this? Probably a cow. And that's because wheat and rice are cow food. And that's why, you know, so many people have gluten intolerance because wheat is not even our food. But we've been conditioned by our culture to eat it for such a long time. And the perfect food for us would be the things which we are instinctively attracted to and that we could eat raw and whole just as they are. Now, think about it a little further. If you look at the teeth of a carnivore, and then you look at the teeth of a herbivore, and if you look at the teeth of true omnivores, and now if you look at your own teeth, it's very clear that we are not the omnivores that we thought we were, right? And I live in India, and India is, I wouldn't say largely vegetarian, but there are a lot of vegetarians in India. And I know that vegetarians and non-vegetarians get the same diseases. And that's because meat and milk have the same properties: high protein, high fat, and no fiber. But think about it. Instinctively, actually, every mammal produces milk only for their young, and instinctively, every baby loves their mother's milk. They are totally attached to it. But when you give them cow's milk for the first time, do they appreciate it? Not at all. And that's why we add in sugar, cocoa, or something to make the baby have the milk, right? So actually, we have to understand that every mammal produces milk for their young, and no animal in nature drinks another animal's milk. Like pigs don't drink goat's milk, or monkeys don't drink elephant's milk. We are the only species that drink another animal's milk to our detriment. And right now, this is very, very, very important because milk is mucus forming. And diseases like asthma, sinusitis, or upper respiratory tract infections can actually be easily reversed just by stopping all dairy, because dairy is so mucus forming. And COVID-19 is a lung disease. So it's really important for us to stop all dairy. In order to be healthy, though, we need high quality spare parts. And the spare parts for healing are nutrients, nutrients of all the colors of the rainbow. Each color is a different phytonutrient. And so Sharan has a 5-point plan for health. Number one, eat only plants. Now, it's difficult to suddenly change from a regular diet to a completely plant based diet without grains. And so we do allow minimal grains like wheat or rice. But if you do eat grains, they should always be whole. So eat whole foods. And actually, now it's really easy to get whole grains because you can buy whole bread and you can buy whole pasta. But remember that whenever you eat packaged foods, most likely they contain foods that are refined. Refined foods are sugar, oil, white rice, white flour, or actually even peeling fruits and vegetables depletes them of their fiber. And fiber is very, very important because fiber cleans our system. If you eat whole foods, you will never suffer from constipation. But also, whole foods fill you up, slim you down, and also help to reverse lifestyle diseases like diabetes, hypertension, etc. And finally, organic. Organic is the way plants are supposed to grow in nature, but now we're using chemicals, spraying chemicals on food so that other animals don't eat them. And then we eat them. How smart is that, right? So that's why it's really important to make sure that we put the highest quality nutrients in our body. Actually, when we consume chemicals, chemicals are hormone disruptors, and today we are facing a whole horde of hormonal problems like diabetes, insulin is a hormone, or hypothyroidism, or PCOD, or prostate enlargement, breast cancer, prostate cancer, ovarian cancer, infertility, menstrual disorders. All of these are hormonal issues that can be reversed by taking chemicals out of our lifestyle. Chemicals are found in non-organic foods as well as packaged foods. And then check and supplement if necessary vitamins B12 and D. Vitamin B12 is only made by bacteria, and if we consume with our super hygienic lifestyle, we are likely to have low vitamin B12. It's also destroyed by microwaves, and even if you don't have a microwave oven, you might be exposed to mobile phones and mobile phone towers, and so B12 deficiency can be found in almost everyone. Vitamin D is also a big problem, especially for people who live in cities, because they're not exposing themselves to sun enough. And even if they do, sometimes the air is polluted and the sun doesn't directly fall on the skin. Vitamin D is actually a hormone, that is formed by the action of the sun on the bare skin. Now, here's what I want to say. Medicines actually never cure. And we know this because if someone gets high blood pressure or diabetes or any other lifestyle disease, they take medicines and they have to take all these medicines for a lifetime. However, that doesn't mean that medicines are not needed. They definitely are needed until we can reverse the disease, right? And of course, homeopathy is much better than all these medicines because, you know, it's not a chemically filled medicine. However, even homeopathy cannot cure until we remove the maintaining cause. It can only reduce symptoms, but if we remove the maintaining cause, homeopathy will have a huge impact. And homeopathy actually affects mind and body. And um, stress is one of the big causes of lifestyle diseases too. Now, the body is always working to heal. No matter what you do, the body is working to heal. And some of the important films that I suggest to learn how to tune into the healing power of the body are the ones that I've put up on this slide. I do want to say that the first four are documentary films, and the next two are YouTube videos that you can see right now. And Alma, the film, is even available on the internet for download. It's a film made in French, but actually there's no language, it's just visuals. And it's such a beautiful film, and it talks about what's happening in Brazil and the connection between Europe, Brazil, and the world. So, you know, we've seen that COVID-19 is a global disease. And what, you know, our whole lifestyle has reached a kind of globalization, and this film is really, really important. Now, I do want to once again mention that if you see only one film, I would suggest The Game Changers. It's something so powerful that it can just change your life. So to summarize, the biomass of all the mammals on the earth are can be seen in this diagram, and livestock take up the biggest chunk. Do you know how many animals are slaughtered every year to feed our 7 billion population? 70 billion. 70 billion land animals are slaughtered every year, and that doesn't even include the fish. So today, when we think about pandemic and people dying, these numbers of deaths are minuscule compared to the Holocaust or the huge amount of death that we are inflicting on animals in our food chain, which is ultimately causing climate change, which also affects our health through pandemics. And if we want to get rid of lifestyle diseases, we need to make changes at the level of cause. That means get rid of our unhealthy habits, work at the root cause. Now, what should we do right now to raise our immunity? We should eat mainly plants, have high quality, the highest quality of nutrients that you can buy, have a good amount of clean water, avoid all addictive things. You know, our body is alkaline, and when we consume anything that is addictive, which includes sugar, salt, vinegar, tea, coffee, colas, all drugs, but also protein. Protein is addictive, and protein breaks down in our body into amino acids, which are acidic and lead to diseases. Now, you know, we've also been brought up with the thought that we need protein, more protein. And I just want to leave you with a question. How many people do you know with protein deficiency? I mean, you must be recognizing that there's hardly anyone who has protein deficiency. Loads of people have lifestyle diseases. Actually, lifestyle diseases are caused by many lifestyle diseases are caused by excess protein. For example, cancer. Protein is the food for growth, and cancer is a growth. Our the number of cases of cancer have exponentially multiplied as we have started eating more animal protein. And animal protein has increased just with refrigeration. So we have to give this a thought. Plenty of rest. When we're resting, we can heal. If you already have a disease, make sure to listen to your body and rest when it needs rest. We have the habit of waking up with alarms, and we should not do that. Plenty of sunshine. And now there's no better time to get sunshine, because the air is cleaner thanks to the lockdown everywhere in the world. And gratitude. Gratitude makes our whole day positive. And honestly, we are so lucky that we have the knowledge to control the pandemic that's happening now. But do we have the knowledge to spread this goodness everywhere? And do we have the knowledge to make sure that it does not happen again? Most important is make sure that you have real knowledge to not just get over this hump, because humps will come again and again, but to make a long-term difference so that we don't suffer from huge numbers of deaths which can come with climate change and water shortage. Now, I just want to end with one thing about stress, depression, and anxiety, which I'm sure that many people are feeling right now due to the lockdown, and because our freedom is hampered. When I talk of freedom, though, I really think about all the animals in those cages. But because our freedom is hampered, but this too has a connection to our diet. Because when we're stressed, we produce adrenaline. And when animals are stressed, they produce adrenaline. No matter which animal you eat or its secretions, like eggs and dairy, no matter which animal we exploit for food, they are stressed. No animal is giving itself up to us to eat. And therefore, we have to remember that every single animal product is full of stress. Sometimes we think that milk and eggs don't have stress because the animal hasn't died. But in order for us to consume milk, a cow is artificially inseminated every year so that she'll produce a baby and keep her milk cycle going. The baby is taken away from her. She is a mother, and she suffers from severe grief, and that adrenaline comes back to us. Now, how do you know that this is really true? Try a plant-based diet, 100% plant-based, for just 30 days and see what happens to your health and state of mind. Okay, so that's all from me. I just want to repeat that we are working to build a culture of health. And I do invite you to visit our website, sharan-india.org, where we have lots of information, 588 recipes. A lot of them are good for Indians, but many are good for people all over the world. I would say 50% of them are not India-based. And then we also have consultations, and the main work that we do is training. And we have doctors and nutritionists trained to do very in-depth consultations, individualized consultations to help people prevent and reverse diseases any lifestyle disease. And we also have 2 online programs, a basic cooking class, so that you can learn how to cook delicious food without oil or sugar, etc. And also how to make your own dairy alternatives and so on. And we also have a 21-day online diabetes reversal program. We're soon going to put up one more online program, and that's a 6 weeks weight loss health gain program. Actually, it's a health gain program where weight loss is just the byproduct. It's so wonderful to be here with you because our history goes back so long.
Yeah.
And I know that you've done phenomenal work for so many people. And now we're meeting again on a very, very special day, which is Hanneman's birthday. And the best part about it is that Hanneman actually taught us how to be wise.
Thank you so much